What's up, everyone? You are watching the Wrestfriends interview series where we chat with wrestlers we think that you need to know. I am your host, Iridian, and my guest today is someone who is not new to the channel. She is the Renaissance woman. Hyan. Girl, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I am so good. Oh my goodness. The last time that we spoke, you were in your home state of Texas, and now
Yeah.
it's the UK. I see your Instagram stories. You're eating toast with beans. You're living your best life. Looking back on the run that you've had so far in the UK, what are some moments that have stood out to you?
It's been a lot. So, it's just been a really fun time just like traveling the country.
Mhm.
I'm here with RevPro, so it's not like we're wrestling like in a different city every week. So it's just like being in London, then you're in Sheffield, then you're in Stevenage, then you're in Portsmouth, and then you're in St. Neots. So it's just literally like all over the place.
Oh my God. I also saw, I mean, I follow you out through your Instagram stories. You posted a picture of like 8 hot dogs in one jar, which I was like,
Yeah.
okay, interesting. So have you found a lot of like things that you're like, oh wow, I wouldn't have thought about that, but okay.
Yeah, that was a big one. I was like, "This is so weird." And I remember I was just walking down the grocery aisle and I just saw that. And I was like, "What the hell is this?" Um, yeah, I did try beans on toast. Um,
Did you like it?
Amir and Blair made me try it. It's just like what you would expect beans on toast to taste like. It's like baked beans,
Yeah.
but I don't get why they like it so much.
You're
'Cause
like,
I was just like, "This is okay." Like, I don't know what this would not be my first, second, or third choice to eat.
your choice for it. Oh man. I remember getting on Instagram and seeing you backstage for Ring of Honor and then backstage at Impact. Can you talk to me a little bit about how those appearances came to be? Was it last minute? Did you already know, weeks in advance? How was that?
So for Ring of Honor, I got an email, um, about doing, like, a taping, but, like, I don't know what my brain was thinking. I just thought, like, "Oh, it's probably just, like, for, like, random extra work." So, I didn't even respond to it. I was like, "I'll get to it later," you know? And then I get like they DM'd me on Instagram. They're like, "Hey, are you going to the tapings? Can you like let us know? Because we're gonna like cover your travel." And I was like, "Oh,
Oh,
okay."
you're like, I should
Just being
respond to
a
that
little bit.
email.
Yeah, I was like, I should definitely respond to that email. So I had to like move my schedule around because I had like a booking that weekend, and it was fine. I was able to like go to the Ring of Honor tapings, but it was it's just such a funny story. I just kind of like gaslit myself into thinking like, oh, it's probably not even anything that big. That I'll get to it later,
Mhm.
you know.
Oh man.
And with Impact, um, they were doing like tapings in Texas, and um I was, like, talking to one of my friends that was, like, was doing one of the tapings. They're like, "Are you gonna be here? It's in Texas." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know." They're like, "Why don't you talk to Gail? Why don't you message Gail Kim and see?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I guess I could do that." I'm too chill about these things, as you can tell. So and I think it was only, like, 2 weeks before. So I was like, "Oh, they probably won't have anything for me," or, so I didn't even get excited about it really. I just messaged Gail on Twitter. Um, and she was like, "Yeah, let me see what I can do." And they're like, "Yeah, come through." And
Okay.
so, yeah, that opportunity, yeah, it was awesome. So I should probably be a little bit more like proactive, I guess. I don't know. Uh,
But I mean, it's all worked out so far. So that's a huge plus.
yeah.
You
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Man, you've done some just really incredible work here in the States, but is there a promotion outside of the United States that you kind of favor a little bit now that you've done some outside work?
I love working for RevPro.
Yeah.
Like it is literally like my home away from home. It's my third time being here. This is my longest day, so usually I'll do like a month and a half to 2 months
Yeah.
every time I'm here. And this has been 3 months.
Wow.
And just being here for so long and then kind of almost being like a regular, you get to know a lot of the people, a lot of the roster, and the cool thing is a lot of people on the roster are actual friends because I mean they run like so frequently, you see everyone all the time. And it's just like a really cool locker room. Andy Colden, who's the promoter, he's a funny guy. So I love working for him. He's a cool dude. Even though he hates handshakes.
Oh,
He hates handshakes and hugs. And so we'll just try to troll him and make us give him a handshake or a hug. I remember the first time I gave him a hug, he was like, "Why? I don't like hugs. Why are you doing this?"
so he's still not has yet gotten used to the hugs then.
No, he's not a hugger. If you try to give him a hug, he'll look at you like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Well,
Although I might try to give him I might force a hug at the copper box so that way I'd be like, "Andy, I'm leaving. I
mhm.
don't know when the next time I will see you." He probably still won't do it though.
You could be like, this is my goodbye present.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man, you have a huge match coming up. You said that this is your biggest match yet. It's a triple threat match for the undisputed
Mhm.
British Women's Championship. How are you feeling about going into that match?
It's, I'm so nervous for it. I'm very excited as well,
Mm,
just because it's the biggest show RevPro's ever put on. It's their 11th anniversary show. It's the day before All In. It's
mhm.
in an arena. It's like in an actual arena. So it's gonna be like the biggest audience I've ever wrestled in, like for an independent promotion. And um there's some really, really good matches on that card. Like when you're on a card with someone like Will Ospreay,
Mhm.
it's like everyone kind of just has to step up.
Yeah. And it's not your only match that day. You have another championship match. You're going to be exhausted. How are you physically preparing to have two matches in one day?
It's gonna be a lot. Like it's gonna be a lot because I have to get there like ridiculously early into London, which where I'm staying currently, it's about maybe like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Mm,
But London traffic is insane. So it's gonna take me a while to get there and my first and Defies at noon,
mm.
wrestle, get on a train, get on the subway to the copper box, which is gonna be like a whole other challenge when you're trying to carry all your stuff with you. Um, yeah, that's gonna be a lot of running around across London.
And you mentioned Will Ospreay. So last time that we chatted, we talked about your amazing jacket and the Will Ospreay inspo behind it. So I'm hearing that you have a new jacket. Is it still being held hostage by UK Customs?
It is actually still being held hostage by UK Customs, and it's actually ruining my life. So I would really appreciate it dearly if I've been literally on the phone with them every day. Every day. So Wednesday marks 2 weeks in customs.
Wow.
I'm going to actually lose my mind. Um, it's the only reason Andy Q put me on the copper box, really. It's because I showed him a picture of my jacket and he goes, "Yeah, I guess I'll put you on the card."
He's like, people have to see this,
But
but
it must be seen. It will be seen by someone somewhere. I don't know if it'll make it to the copper box. It better be. I'm literally asking, begging for everyone to give me good vibes so you can make it through.
I
But
hope that we get to see
yes,
this jacket. I don't know who we have to write.
I hope so too. If
All
I lose this match, it's because I didn't have my jacket.
Oh, well, you heard it here. You heard it here. So, when this UK tour is over, you have plans of going to Germany. What made you decide to start traveling and wrestling pretty much all around the world?
So the first time, I would even say like when I went to Japan in 2019,
Mhm,
I was there for 3 months. And one thing that I love about doing these like long stays is that like you get to live as a local.
mm.
You're not there as just like a tourist. You get to just live in the country that you're in. And when I went to Japan, it kind of like opened my eyes to just this whole new culture and just new way of living.
Yeah.
And it's become my favorite part of wrestling, really. Um, when I first came, like when initially came for like this tour, I was only scheduled to be here for like 6 weeks, and on our way back from a show, I was on the ring van with Andy, and I was like, so can I actually just stay longer for the copper box?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And he's like, sure. Um, so with this tour plus going to Germany, it's
Mhm.
gonna end up being like 4 months of my life,
Wow.
maybe a little bit more. A quarter of this year is gonna end up being spent in another country. And or
That's
a third
so
of this
crazy to
year
think
is gonna be
about.
spent
That's
in
amazing.
another. Yeah, because I fly back home hopefully um next week. I say hopefully because there's like hurricanes in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
So hopefully they don't get canceled, my flight doesn't get canceled. But I go home, I spend like 3 weeks in Texas, and then I'm off to Germany for 6 weeks. And then I'll be coming back to the UK in in October as well, because I have bookings here too. So it's just like I'm very fortunate to be able to do this.
It's amazing and you're doing so, so well. So, congratulations on just being able to travel and just really honestly living your best life. You have plenty of supportive fans who love to watch you wrestle, but who are you a fan of right now? I know that you are super supportive of Aussie Open and a lot
Mhm.
of the talent that's in Texas. So, who do you love to watch?
Honestly, my favorite wrestler is Zack Sabre Jr.
Mm,
I've watched so many of his matches. I'm a big fan of his. I marked out for him at the Ring of Honor tapings. Um, and he was at Epic Encounter at RevPro like a month and a half ago.
yeah.
Um, and I went up to him after the show and I was like, "Hey," and he's like, "Hi," and I was like, "I'm that weird girl that you met at the Ring of Honor taping," and he's like, "Oh yeah, I remember you." But a super nice guy. It was cool to be able to just like talk to someone that like you like studied their matches. And
Mm.
I love his style of wrestling, like his technical wrestling, and a big fan of his, as well as Will Ospreay. Obviously, he's like incredible to watch live and to like just study his matches as well. I learned a lot from watching them too, and they're probably my top two favorites right now.
Do you have any career goals on your bucket list that don't have anything to do with wrestling? Or are you just zoned in on like, all right, this is what I want to do. So that's what I'm going to focus on.
Um, I feel like I am too like dialed into wrestling. So all my goals tend to revolve around that. But I am trying to branch out and have goals outside of wrestling. Um like traveling more.
Yeah.
Um I have been like watching so many TikToks about like Korea and like Korean food that I really, really want to go travel there. Like it seems like such a fun time.
Yeah. And your husband is also a wrestler. So do you guys both train together? Is there a dynamic in the household that like you guys are always trying to one up each other? What is that like? Two wrestlers living under one roof.
So we don't talk too much wrestling at home,
Mhm.
except like when I'm like, oh, I have this booking, or I have this going on. But we do go to training together. Typically, whenever we go to training together, I'll be the one that runs training.
Mhm.
And I tend to be a lot harder on him during training than anyone else, just because like I know
Mhm.
I can really push him because I know how good he is. So it's like I can really just nitpick everything he does, and he's very appreciative. He's not like, "What are you doing?" You know what I mean? Um, we did wrestle once at New Texas, and my opponent wasn't able to make the show that day.
Mhm.
And so nobody knew who I was supposed to wrestle. And my family was at the show. And I ran into my mom in the bathroom like while the show was going on.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Who are you wrestling? Who are you wrestling?" I was like, "Don't worry about it. Like it's a surprise. I can't tell you."
Mm.
And she was like, "Okay, okay." She goes, "When is Steven wrestling?" I go, he's gonna come out right after me."
Yeah.
And she goes, "Okay." And she didn't like put it together. Um, and so we wrestled, and it was really fun because our friends and family got to see it happen. And afterwards, after our match, he was just like, "You're really intimidating when we're talking about the match." I was like, "What do you mean?" I started laughing. He's like, "Come on, you have to know what you do." I was like, "No, what do I do?" He's like, "You're so ruthless. You just shoot my ideas down." He's like, "You're like, no, we're not doing that. No, that's dumb." And I was like, "Well, I don't." I was like, "To be fair, I'm not like that with everyone. I can just be my unfiltered self around you, so I can be like, yeah, that's dumb. We're not doing."
Well, at least he's okay with it, you know?
Yeah, he was like, "You need to chill." I was like, "Yeah, okay, I'll try to chill a little bit."
You're like, I'll work on it. It's okay.
Yeah.
You have a video on your Twitter, and I absolutely love it. It's a great promo video where you're like, most people say that they are the best wrestler in the world, but they've never left their home state. You learned strong
Mhm.
style in Japan. You learned the English style in England. What does the Renaissance woman want her legacy to be in professional wrestling?
Ooh, that's a hard one. I definitely want to be known as someone that like took their craft seriously, helped others, and is one of the best to ever do it. Um, I really strive to continuously learn with wrestling. Like, even when I'm in England, like, I still go to training. Like, I'll go to training here, um, and doing film study and trying to help other people because I run trainings back home. And you learn so much by trying to train other people because you really have to break it down and
Yeah.
you really have to know it forwards and backwards to be able to like teach it to someone else. So yeah, that would probably be hopefully the legacy I leave.
Well, Hyan, thank you so much for joining me today. Where can our listeners find you on social media?
I am on Twitter as the Hyan, TheHyan. Um, or that's Instagram. On Twitter, it's underscore TheHyan.
Well, thank you so much, and I appreciate you. All right, guys, you have heard it here. That's where you can find Hyan, and make sure that you go follow her on all her social media platforms because she is amazing and living her best life right now in England, and she will get her jacket back soon.
Yeah, UK Customs. I'm putting y'all on notice every time, every time.